back to another live video. And in today's live video, I'm gonna be giving you guys a list of mods that you need um, to have the fastest NA RAM. So these are mods that I'm gonna be giving you guys that if you plan on modifying your RAM to make it fast, these are the same mods I'm doing with my truck. Some of these I probably have, some you probably might have. Before we get into talking about that, I hope you guys having a wonderful Saturday. Just got done doing my walk and run. Gonna be heading to the gym soon. But if you're here for your first time on the channel, guys, I need you guys to keep supporting the channel. Help support, hit that subscribe button. Definitely give this live video a thumbs up, so it could try to reach a little bit more people who are like-minded like us. So definitely go ahead, help support the channel. So if you trying to modify your truck, your Ram 1500, so these are lists of mods that is required for you to have the fastest NA RAM. So not boosted, pretty much I'll say NA. If you plan on trying to make your truck one of the fastest NA RAM, then this video definitely gonna be for you. So we're gonna start talking about that. So the first thing I would say that you will need to do right now, starting off, is to get a aftermarket cold air intake. It doesn't matter on which cold air intake that you want to go with, but I do know some cold air intake does have a good benefit with like the Hemi Rams and stuff. I know the one I have on my truck that I started with was it's the Air Raid cold air intake. This I only paid, I think I paid about 300 and somewhere, I think 350, somewhere around there. And this I got from on, I think, AmericanTrucks.com. Does show you probably gain probably what I think somewhere around like 10 to like 15 horsepower gain. And it definitely does, like this core air intake I have on the truck definitely does make, when you step on the gas, like it does give the truck a little bit more of a sound. And it's definitely something that's affordable, but you don't have to go with, Air Raid. There's different kind of core air intakes out there that you could choose from. But that was the first thing. That's the first thing I'll say you got to start off with. Definitely go with aftermarket core intake. It's definitely important because, believe it or not, if you ever notice that when you change your cool air intake on your truck, well, when you switching over from pretty much the stock core air intake to aftermarket core intake, if you look at your stock core air intake, right, intake or whatever you want to call it on your truck, if you check in the little, it's like a little funnel that you look inside, you will see, excuse me, you will see how much dirt that is sitting inside of your truck core air intake like tube. And that's definitely not something that is definitely good for your truck. So you definitely want to upgrade, start off getting a cool air intake for your truck. That will be the first thing I recommend that you do. It's a very easy, cheap, affordable mod. Now the next thing I would say that you could do is that I'm gonna be doing with my truck. I'm just gonna go in the order of things that I'm pretty much gonna be doing with this truck. Some of these things, like I said, you probably have, probably might not have, but some of these things I have on my truck already. Now the next thing I would say is that can help your truck is going with a aftermarket intake manifold, not a regular 5.7 intake manifold, not the ones that's on these trucks. I always say that because they are junk. It's not going to help you at all. If you try to be one of the fastest NA RAM, definitely not going to help you. But you want to get rid of that and you want to go over to a 6.4 truck intake manifold. I know for a fact this I think High Horse Performance, or I forgot what's the other website, but they normally sell the 6.4 truck intake manifold on there. You could probably port it yourself, or you could probably pay for it, get it ported, and then get it shipped out to your door. Now I know for a fact, just for a 6.4 truck intake manifold, somewhere around like 800 bucks. So now if you plan on getting it ported, it's gonna probably run you probably at least you're probably gonna be sitting at 1,200 bucks, 1,200 somewhere around there. But that's the price range. So you wanna, if you one tip I'll give you, if you're gonna do a 6.4 truck intake manifold, you definitely got to get it ported. Like it's definitely something that is a must that you have to do. So that would be the next thing I would say that you could do. Doesn't have to be in this order, but just depend on your budget and pretty much how much how much you have to spend. So the next thing I would say that you could do is you could probably go with a custom camshaft. Custom camshaft. I'm gonna give you guys a few names that I know. Most Performance. There is, I think, what else? There is the FRP Tomahawk cam. There's what's the other name? There's it's a whole lot of it's a whole lot of different camshaft out there, but it doesn't really all of these doesn't it doesn't long as you getting yourself a custom cam for your truck, it doesn't require like a certain kind of cam this and that you need. Like long as you going with a custom cam, that's gonna be able to help your truck overall, making a decent amount of power. So now when you paint like one thing I'll recommend, one thing I can say is when you plan on doing a custom cam, don't just buy just the cam itself. Most places that I know, the reason why I recommend like with me, like I was saying before in my previous videos, that the custom cam that I like the most is the FRP. I think it's like Flying Ryan Performance or something like that. That's what the FRP stand for. Now they have cam, like custom cam for Hemi, 5.7 trucks, 5.7 Dodge Chargers, and I think, but now their camshaft. The reason why I always like talk about their camshaft is because it's like a whole kit. So you're not just getting just like the cam, like the bearings and stuff. Like it's not just that. It's like a whole kit that you're gonna be getting. Obviously, it does cost a little bit more, but it's definitely something that's a requirement if you're gonna be doing a cam, especially if your truck is like stock. Now the cam, like the cam they offer three different stages. Um, there's like I guess I can say the low one there, and then there's the medium, and then there's the real aggressive one. Now that also require a higher stall converter. Like now, if you're doing a camshaft, you might as well, if you're going to go with a camshaft, most of the time people tend to go with like a higher cam. So that would require you to get a higher tool converter. But like they offer like their kit is like pretty much is like all in one, where you could buy the cams. It comes with all the little pieces that you need, MDS delete. It comes with what else it comes with? I think it comes with the torque converter. You don't got to go somewhere else to buy, and it also come with the custom tune that required, because when you do a camshaft, got to get a custom tune, and you could purchase everything on their site, which is like a huge plus that I think. And but the only thing about it, like with everything I just named, you're probably gonna be spending at least I say I think it's like three grand even, or like 28 something, because I have the same, I select the same thing, and everything came up to around like two eight around there. But that's a pretty good deal when you get in a cam. When you get in cam, it's always best that you um go with like add like all the accessories and stuff that you need, because you don't want to get the cam and then you take it to like a shop, they end up telling you that you gotta pretty much order this or you gotta order that. It's gonna be too much and stuff. You might as well just want to order everything all at once. But a custom cam would be the next thing that you would need to have one of the fastest one of the fastest NA brand custom cam. Then obviously the next thing on the list, I gotta turn my car off. I left my car on. Next thing on the list that you gotta do is you want to go with a custom tune. Um, Custom tune is something that's most no matter what kind of modification you're doing, majority of the time, if you plan on making your truck fast, you have to go with a custom tune. It doesn't matter in order. You don't have to go in the order that I'm telling you guys. You could probably just go with a core intake, do a custom tune, do a 6.4 truck intake manifold, do the cam, because I know those things is expensive. So you can go from cheaper to most high, or you can go with pay for the stuff that costs more first, and then go with the cheaper stuff after. I mean, the stuff that costs less. But custom cam is something that's definitely recommended with a tune. Good tuner would be also something that is recommended. So that's the key right there. If you really trying to, but obviously it's more stuff too. Like I said, you do, if your truck has let's say if your truck got a 6-speed transmission, now that's another thing too. You got to put that plays in a factor. Like I don't really know much about if you have like, I don't know what's like the breaking point for a 6-speed trans. But one thing I know that when you start throwing like when you start throwing like real high like mods that's gonna add a lot of power to your truck, just keep an open mind that your truck gonna pretty much be at a higher risk of your trans blowing out. Obviously, as if you have a 6-speed transmission, because I know the 6-speed trans on these trucks is not really the best when it comes to you modifying. But then also, I have seen on YouTube before where I think there was a Ram, I forgot his channel though, but he had a 6-speed trans. But his setup was like I think it was a turbocharger that he put on his truck, and he was making I think probably close to like 800 something horsepower on a lot of stock stuff. And I think he said his truck had a 6-speed trans, and also his truck was a truck that he used to tow with. But he said his trans like hold up for quite some time, and then after that, they give up on him. But if you don't got the 8-speed trans in your truck, it's definitely something that you gotta it's definitely something that you have to pretty much get upgrade to from a 6-speed to 8-speed, because I definitely feel like when you throw like all these mods to your truck, trying to be fast, you got to get an 8-speed transmission, because the 8-speed transmission hold up more than a 6-speed. Obviously, 6-speed are not the best. But I never understand though. One thing I never understand, why the hell like Dodge, they didn't just strictly just keep like when they made like the 5.7 Hemis V8. Obviously, they all have the 8-speed trans. They should have never really give the option for you to really be able to convert over. If you got a V8, to be able to convert over to a 6-speed trans. But I just feel like it doesn't really make sense. But I mean, but the next thing on the list that you are gonna need is, what's the next thing on the list? I'll say that you're gonna need that's gonna help you. The next thing I would say that you really gonna need that's gonna help you is obviously you got to get upgraded gears. Like guys, when you really trying to modify these trucks, it's not really rocket science at the end of the day. Just some of the things that like I mentioned before, um, some of these trucks luckily have the setup of the I think the 392 gears or something like that. They already have that on there. But I know for most trucks like these fourth generation Ram, the crew cab or quad cab normally they don't have that. So you have to upgrade your gears and stuff. If you plan on making more power, that's the key. But now one of the newest thing I see a lot of people doing with these trucks is, most people, if there's a kit, I think it's like a kit or something like that. But I don't know if you could just regularly, I don't know if you could just buy like a Yoon Scat Pack or Hellcat, well, I'll say Hellcat blower, and just put it on your truck. I don't think it's gonna fit directly, but I do think that the kit that I've seen is the reason why they have the kit, because you can't just take a regular Hellcat blower and put on your 5.7. You have to. There's a couple things on there that got to be changed, so you really can't just do that. So you have to pay. I think you have to buy like a kit for everything to be able to work. But that's another thing too that's pretty dope, I would say. But it really doesn't take much for you to really be able to modify these trucks to where you can have like one of the fastest N.A Ram. It really doesn't require much, yo. And obviously, if you want to be faster, once you do all of these modifications, the next thing on the list I would say you could probably do even if you got a single cab, but if you got a crew cab, I know the back seats on these trucks, you could easily be able to delete them. You guys notice? I think the back seat have like bolts on the underneath part. When you lift up your seat, you'll see like bolts where you could easily be able to remove them and stuff, just for weight reduction. But these are things that, like I said, it's not really, at the end of the day, it's not something as complicated unless you make it complicated. But when you doing this, is one huge factor you gotta think about is you gotta have the funds. You gotta be willing to spend the funds for you to do everything that I'm saying. Like you gotta have, you don't, like when you plan on being doing NA, it's not like you're trying to go boost it or something like that, but you really don't have to spend as much, but you do gotta have some money that you gotta be willing to spend to be able to make your truck fast. But these are all the mods, everything I just told you guys I'm doing to this truck right now. I'm planning on doing to this truck. Some of these things I'm doing, some things I'm waiting on. The next biggest thing I'm planning on doing with this truck, obviously, is the cam. Um, it's the camshaft. One thing I'm be real with you guys is I'm kind of like worried about. I wouldn't say I'm worried, but kind of a little bit sketchy on doing like, because the cam I'm going with is a very like it's a very aggressive cam, to where it require I think a 32, I think 32 or over three, um 3,000 stall converter. I think somewhere around there, but it's very aggressive though. But I don't know how well this trans gonna hold up. Like I mentioned before in the past, I think, I had to change the converter on this truck before when I got it. Um, Obviously it was something that it was something that they told me. It wasn't like it wasn't like the dealership fault, but they had to fix the converter on this truck. This truck had a converter issue where I had to get it fixed. My warranty covered it, so it wasn't like I was spending the money to get it fixed. But all of these things require money and require time. But in order to have one of the fastest trucks, you got to be able to spend, you got to be able to spend a good amount of money for your truck to be fast. But NA is not really like, it's not like you're doing any kind of crazy modifications, like you trying to go over to a swap or something like that. It's not really as complicated as you think. It's pretty straightforward. Your same 5.7 Hemi that's in your truck. Just got to put a couple modifications on there. Another thing too, you could do I think I'd say a ported throttle body is not recommended, but you could do that too to help you. But these are all the modifications that you really need to have one of the fastest NA Ram, obviously. Um, but yeah, that's gonna be it, man. I need you guys to definitely keep supporting the channel. If you here for your first time viewing my live, this is my 2014 Dodge Ram that I have currently, and we are building one of the fastest. Well, I wouldn't say fastest, but one of the fastest and one of the baddest Ram on YouTube. I know Ram pickup trucks don't really have like a huge platform on YouTube, so this one of the channels right here, my channel and stuff. So you definitely, if you really a Mopar guy or fan of these trucks, definitely guys go ahead and hit that subscribe button, support the channel, and make sure you guys give this video a thumbs up too, because trying to help YouTube get the content out there. So if you give it a thumbs up, it's gonna help get the content out there to the right person who could be a fan of Mopar, could be a fan of these fourth generation Ram. I definitely appreciate the support though, man, from you guys. Definitely means a lot. I'm doing this live every day, so if you want me to speak about a certain topic, or you have something in mind that you want me to tell you or share with you about, Ram or something base car related, make sure go ahead and leave your thoughts down below. Still trying to get a hang of YouTube, so we learn it as we go. So you guys got to be patient. There's more things to come for this Ram, so you want to make sure you keep following the channel. I know for a fact there's a few Ram on YouTube, I myself channels that I follow, but I don't think it's much 4th generation Ram quad cab. It's out there platform on YouTube that really racing or doing any kind of modification stuff like that. But there's a lot of single cabs out there on YouTube though, few of them. But like I said, Ram don't really have a big platform like that. But you guys make sure subscribe to the channel, and that's gonna be it. I'll see you guys in the next live. So peace out, take care, enjoy the rest of your day.